Hello colleagues, it's 12:30. Let's start our section. I'd like to welcome all the fans of depository and custodial industry. I can see that there are quite a lot of you. So, we can compare it with other rooms and we can see that the level of digitalization is not as high as in the area of digital assets and payment structures, but still today we will try to start our discussion devoted to digitalization of depository services. Well, actually, the issue of digitalization of depositories and registrators, infrastructure for assets, normally was it did not receive much attention, and now we would like to solve this problem. I'd like to introduce my colleagues. Zhidkov, head of Central Depository of Russian Federation, Nordea company, part of group of Moscow Stock Exchange, one of our largest accounting institutions, actually the largest accounting and infrastructure institution. Olga, head of the business unit responsible for the infrastructural issues of securities, financial instruments in one of the largest banks, Alfa-Bank. The next speaker is Lyudmila Mironova, the head of one of the largest registrators in Russia, Status Registrator, and Pavel Prass, the head of the largest special depository that services quite a lot of managing companies and funds, a largest custodian and accounting institution. My name is Kirill, director of the Department of Infrastructure, Financial Markets from the Bank of Russia. Let's start. To begin with, I would like to give some introductory remarks regarding what's going on in the area of digitalization in the investment market. I think that everyone is used to that. We live in a digital space for more than 1 year. Most financial operations, most financial services are in online, and actually you can take any financial product with a few exceptions and buy it in online. Investment market is no exception here. If you want to buy bonds or shares or futures in the stock exchange, you can just open your broker application, press a button, and the deal is done. Everything is fine. Speaking about banking service, I guess that I don't really need to mention that. Banking transitions, system of fast payments, transitions, transfers inside banks, everything is very fast and beautiful. Lots of mobile applications for individuals, for corporate clients. And we decided to see and check the level of digitalization of various segments of financial market. And we looked at the accounting infrastructure that is the foundation, the rails for the investment market as a whole. For the financial market, payments, settlements, and banking transactions are important, and for the investment market, it's important to take accounting of securities, to account corporate actions. So this is an important infrastructural element of the financial market, and it turned out that not everything is very smooth here, and there are several examples of that. Recently, we've started seeing that clients want securities, the portfolios of securities and financial instruments to be transferred between brokers, between depositories, just the way customers can transfer money inside the bank or between banks. And if you buy a security, pressing one button with one click, but when you want to transfer a portfolio of securities, it is a bit more difficult. I guess that if you would like to transfer your portfolio of securities from a depository of one broker to the depository of another broker, if inside depository in online you would like to transfer securities from one account to another account, to an account of a different individual, there will actually be some problems in that. And there are no such services at all, or there are some very narrow solutions. So what clients do? It was a surprise for us, but we saw that the clients solve this problem as follows. If I need to transfer my portfolio from one broker to another, I open the stock exchange glass. I press the button sell in one application and press button buy in another application, and it's good. So I bought these securities, have them in a different application, and it would have been all fine in case there were no risks of manipulating costs or volume of securities in the stock exchange class. Such risks exist, and the clients need to digitalize such services. So today we would like to speak about the services in the accounting infrastructure that needs digitalization, and what the participants of the market think of that, what our audience thinks of that, what our colleagues think of that. So I'd like to give the floor to our first speaker, Viktor Zhidkov. Viktor, I know that some time ago a number of market participants together with NRD decided to create a service of fast transfer for securities. So it's something similar to the system of fast payments in banks. On the one hand, it's very convenient because they can transfer the money inside a bank or between banks with a minimum fee. But at the same time, we remember the way this story developed in banks. So there were some problems there. Not everyone wanted to create convenient customer pathways. And in your opinion, can this story be successful in the stock exchange market? Are there any prospects there? And in your opinion, what can this service look like? Thanks a lot for this question. Good afternoon, colleagues. I would like to tell you a legend. How this idea of creating a service for fast transfer of securities was born. I request you to perceive this story as a legend, but probably this legend is very true to life, and most likely this the story of the way very interesting projects were created is pretty similar to that. One of top managers of Alfa-Bank, when speaking at an internal event, spoke about the achievements of the investment block and mentioned that in the application it was possible to transfer securities in the air, but probably he mentioned that they were going to do that in the near future. So we don't know that for sure. But anyway, Olga, who is here, undertook the burden of this responsibility. She came to NRD and said, guys, we need to launch the service for securities transfer in the application because we promised to do that. We said no, as always, because it's difficult, it's expensive, it's not possible. We're quite far from this service, from applications for clients. But, we do not reject anything for no reason, and we decided to think about that. And we thought that there are quite a lot of obvious problems in the way we transfer securities. Probably as being professionals, we're pretty good used to that. But if you look at the number of requests to NRD, and you'll see that most of them are requests related to transitions of securities. Every month, 250 people call us, 1,200 calls, and they ask us, did we send it right? How can I fill in this form, especially if this action is not regular? So if you do it regularly, you can memorize how to fill that in. So indeed, we just thought that it would simplify our work in case of an automatic transfer. Secondly, indeed, this is a customer's pain when a customer is linked to their institution and they cannot select another option. They can only sell their securities because apart from selling, it is also necessary to prove the taxation base that you get when selling it, and this is a stop factor. And poor brokers that come to the market very enthusiastic, that want to make money because of finding new clients. They are fighting for new money only. They are not fighting for new clients. And NRD saw that it can be quite beneficial for them as well, because if there are quite a lot of clients that hold securities and have a chance to transfer them, we can make money on holding the securities and on transfers. So everyone can be happy about that. And we actually implemented that. And if you are not in the industry and probably don't know how it works, you will see the explanation in a brief video. We actually included all explanations of the way the industry works for our clients. I guess that before that it was not very understandable, and now depositories are becoming a very important infrastructural unit because lots of things depend on us. Could you please show the video about the system of fast transfers of securities? National Accounting Depository represents a service for fast transfer of securities between brokers. Normally, to transfer securities from one broker to another, you need to collect a set of documents and bring it to the office of a broker. But you need to be aware of depository accounting, and investors normally do not need that when buying and selling securities. And when you ask for help to fill in the order for transfer, you can never be sure that all the details would be filled in right, because you need to fill in the set of documents in two brokers, and there can be an error in the documents. This is a difficult way, and it requests lots of time. So frequently investors do not transfer securities, they just sell these securities from the account of broker 1 and buy on the account of broker 2. But it can result in fees and losses. Individual investment accounts, same risk. You can lose the right for tax benefits. That's why our company developed a service of fast transfer of securities. This service helps brokers automate the process of accepting and transferring securities, and for clients, this transition is very fast and convenient. This service also allows you to transfer all the information that the broker needs to calculate taxes. So the service for securities fast transfer guarantees the storage of securities and also provides information about the history of operations. So you can address your manager of OnRD or send a request to an email to use this service. So which problems do we solve? There are 3 bottlenecks that we should solve somehow, because I guess that all other things are very understandable and beneficial for everyone. So first of all, there should be a law in the tax code. There should be amendments in the law on securities to implement that, and we need to have a critical mass of brokers, because this is the way network effect works. When you can have some place where you can transfer the securities, because if there are no large participants, the value of this service will be lost. And we think that it's difficult to cope with the first 2 tasks, but it's possible. Today, we've already seen amendments in Law 39, and we received positive feedback. And speaking about tax code, it is more difficult, but the work is in progress. And Bank of Russia takes part in that work, and everyone that can have some impact takes part in that work as well, because it's beneficial. So this is a network effect. How can you make people be present there? Normally everyone is ready, everyone agrees, but they always ask, who is there? I will come if someone is there. So we need some brave companies to come there, and we found them. And these are small houses that do not have much to lose, and they say that thanks to that instrument we will be visible in the information space. And these are also large companies such as Bank, Moscow Credit Bank, Sovcombank. The guys that are really good broker companies. Well, the largest one is not there, because they are mostly concerned about whether they need it or not. they not want to be a donor, although they have always been saying that they are competing in the product. But I guess that they will perceive this story normally as well. The only issue is technical backlog. So we understand that we need to amend the legislation, and the money is not big, plus or minus 1 or 2 or 3 million rubles, depending on the people that work there and bureaucracy. So we think that such basic limitations are absent. It's only about the speed. I guess that in the middle of the year 24 we will cover 60% of the market. That's my opinion. So, distinguished colleagues, if you think that you need to look and think about that, I think that you actually need to run. You need to run to your committees. You need to agree about that, because it will be late in future, and you will be sorry if you're not there. So there are 3 bottlenecks, and all other things will be solved. Thank you. Another question. Look here. Speaking about the system of fast payments in banks, I think that the project is quite interesting. Lots of transactions. It's possible to monetize these services, and economically, this is beneficial. Banks attract liquidity in this manner if a client moves from one bank to another. And here, what about the economic aspects? Or do you just think that this is an infrastructural project that should be implemented, and that is about the convenience and quality of service for the client rather than economics for depository? That's a good question. I think that verification at the level of each broker depends on the position of this broker. So am I an acceptor or a donor? And which value do I want to give to the client? And in this case, NRD will have minimum tariffs, if there are any tariffs for this service, because it is profitable for us to have opportunities so that small financial institutions, small infrastructural companies will be able to fight for customers. It means that there will be lots of small depositors that hold securities, and they will make transfers and trade in the stock exchange. Thus, we can make money, because if we have large clients that created liquidity that hold portfolios of securities, tariffs are low, we will lose. So I guarantee that without tariff, we will not be a limiting factor. I think that the industry will form this fair value that will exist in the market. In my opinion, there is a cohort of clients that do not want to come to the market because they are afraid of this slavery. They think, I will buy it from you, after that you grow tariffs and I will have nothing to do, especially if this is loan investment, individual investment account. And this is an additional sell point. You know, sometimes the right to conduct a deal makes a customer more confident and they stay with you. Maybe they will not transfer securities at all, because all brokers have qualitative service actually, but even if this opportunity is just present, people will be more confident about coming to companies with a brand that is not that strong, that have some difficulties in terms of audience coverage. So finally, it is all about the client. So these are services for clients convenience, to decrease the dependency of a client on a specific financial mediator, and of course it will exacerbate competition. And now I think that we can conduct a small online voting and we will summarize its results in the end. I asked the assistants to show on the screen this process. Yes, please. Colleagues, if you have FINOPOLIS application, it's possible to vote there. If you do not have this application, you can download it on the website of FINOPOLIS. It will be really interesting to see the results. There are two questions here. Do investors need the service of fast transfers or not? And the second question, here it is. Is it necessary for market participants to have an opportunity to connect it voluntarily or obligatorily? as far as I can see, lots of participants of the market would like to take part in that voluntarily. Regarding system of fast payments, it was a bit different. And I think that it will be very positive if the market creates this story by itself. Next question. I would like to ask it of Olga. Olga, you represent one of the most high-tech banks. You are responsible for the accounting infrastructure in it. And as it was mentioned by the previous speaker, you are also related to the initiative to create this service. On the one hand, we are mostly in information business, and the bank is a broker. The bank has a large customer base, and representing Depository and bank of the broker. Are you just as optimistic about the success of the system? Because for brokers, that's about growing competition. On the one hand, they will be able to attract clients, but on the other hand, they should try to retain clients somehow. And what about you? Are you just as optimistic as the previous speaker, and are you ready to join this project? Thanks a lot for the question. Well, we've already heard a legend, so I'd like to tell you about the reality. Indeed, I'm responsible for the operational efficiency for the infrastructure of brokers and dealers of Alfa-Bank. And every day, very intensively, we try to automate, improve, facilitate processes inside the bank. And at some point, we realized that, well, I have no doubts that our colleagues, our competitors work just the way we do. And we need to automate the whole market. We need to facilitate the interdependencies in the market, because now we can transfer funds, money, by the system of fast payments. It takes just a few clicks to pay, and we want our clients to be able to work with securities in the same convenient manner. And speaking about Victor's optimism, I have some doubts here, because we know about the life inside brokers. We know that the broker is intensive, the backlog is large, there are lots of tasks, and the business always looks at new products, new ideas from the standpoint of proposal to clients, and this is the infrastructural part. And we always lack money and resources for it, because infrastructure cannot bring money at once, unlike structural projects and sales. So we mean that indeed we will reach efficiency in this area, and if depository transfers are easier, if it is possible to have a unified form of costs certificate, and it will be possible to upload it and download it from the system, I assure you that we will achieve operational efficiency. The load on employees will be less, there will be fewer risks, the speed for clients and employees will grow, and I can say that we need to push the market in this direction. So probably the regulators should do it and actively recommend the implementation of this service. Otherwise, it will take quite a lot of time, and this implementation is reasonable only when there is some critical mass of participants that are involved in this service. We think that this aspect is really important, so we cannot do without a regulator. We need to have a law. We need to oblige everyone, so the critical mass will be there, network effect will be there. Thank you, Olga. Let's move on. Question of Lyudmila Mironova. Okay, Lyudmila. I think that depositories are a bit more high-tech than registrators because they do not live on their own. They are embedded in broker business. So they need to try and trade online. The level of automation is probably higher. So the client's portrait in depositories and registrators is different in a sense. And what do you think? Do clients of registrators need this service for fast transfers? Is it reasonable? Will your client win anything from it? And what about you as accountant business? Is it beneficial for you? Hello, colleagues. Speaking about digitalization of depositories and them being technological, I have a brief comment. That is the reason why we collect the lists for 15 days, only because they are very high-tech. You're right. But actually, you're right, Kirill. The level of automation has a direct correlation with the business scale. And our broker companies, large brokers, bank business units, actually have it bigger than registrators. Then that's why the level of automation is different there. Speaking about the system, actually, this principle to connect the market and the infrastructure with a system that would allow for a customer to have a smooth transition from one storage place to another storage place is a good idea, and I support it. The only thing is, well, I'm quite skeptical about services behind which there is no economics, behind which there is no clear understanding how the users come, how much they cost, what is the plan for increasing the number of users and transactions and monetizations finally, because every service, especially such a heavy one, that need to include the whole infrastructure. Such services require continuous support, modernizations, technologies develop, and if you do it once, it does not mean that you will not need to maintain it in the updated state and monitor the development of technologies all the time. So I'm pretty skeptical about this story. I think that this service will be successful if it is managed and developed with market methods. In that case, it is relevant. Another point is monetization. Where is it? It's not about individuals, because they come to this market under the aegis of opening an account and getting some income. They do not want to pay for it. But if brokers compete for the clients that are already present in the market, probably they can actually impose, they can actually include some cost for attracting clients in their budget. And speaking about registrators, I think it is quite possible to embed this system in our online service. Probably there will be some issues related to fast implementation of operations. I know how to solve that. And another question is that we do not have many clients with depository systems. There are people that do not trade on stock exchange. They have different needs. And I also have a social group of clients, and very few clients with large packages that theoretically can come to stock exchange when they want to go to cash. But anyway, these clients also need this service. I think that this is a good story to include registrators into the system at a specific stage. I do not think that we will make any money there, because this like single time individuals. They came once and they left at once. So that will be a social project for you, right? Well, not a social project, but I think that the implementation of this system inside business processes of registrators will upgrade them a bit, and it will be good for the infrastructure. Thank you, Pavel. The question is of you. You represent the industry of collective investors and powerful custodians. Do collective investments need that at all? Do you see a chance to improve something in the processes of transactions for various custodial services offered by special depositories, or these rails are not for you? These are more for depositories, the service brokers. Thanks a lot for this question. Indeed, this is not a retail model. It's like a wholesale model. Correct me if I'm wrong, but call investments, mutual funds, and pension investments will not be influenced by it a lot, because security transfers between us, well, we have somehow learned how to do that. So you can reach large portfolios through companies like NRD, and it is very high tech. And almost all have some non-collective depositors, but this is not mass retail, and that's not about the market of call investments. That's a depository branch. That's why I can say that we do not expect any significant impact. And speaking about some opportunities and risks, probably as a whole, I think that yes, for retail investors, it would be convenient to get a service that allows them to transfer the securities from various brokers fast without excessive manipulations. And I think that it's really important to have significant conditions implemented in the service. Being a depository, I can accept a client, I can refuse to accept a client. So if this client gives me a specific document, I can accept them, and with a different document, I will not accept them. And retail brokers learned how to do that, but today it's important to take into account this fast analysis of orders. And it's important how we are going to get a conscientious knowledge of investor in this system. I mean, that where this investor is in a new broker. So you can convince them to buy a service, press a button, and they will get to a new broker. But all the conditions, such as tariffs, incoming and outgoing tariffs and operations tariffs, they can be different. And I think that this model is a bit more complicated than the system of fast payments, because money is a simpler financial instrument. So I think that this is also important how to take that into account. Another point, I just wanted to mention that today everything is centralized. Everything that's centralized is a bit concerning. So I guess that we need to think of standardization. I think that at the same time, we should not only have an API under which it will be possible to enter the service, but it will also be possible to follow the way of common registries, such as the guidebook of securities and others. These should be available sources and resources, thanks to which not only we but also some fintech companies would make additional services and develop infrastructure. Thanks a lot. I can see that on my left there are optimists, on my right there are realists, and I think that it's really good. I think that we lack active brokers in the panel, but we will discuss this story more than once with our colleagues from broker market. I asked the assistant to show the results of voting if we already have them on the screen. So what do we have summarizing the results? Well, it's like 50-50, although a bit more participants think that there is such a need. Or they answered yes, if the interface of getting financial service will be understandable and user-friendly. Okay, we check the hypothesis, and we think that the conditions for connecting the market participants should be voluntarily. So I guess that we need to discuss it once again, and we need to have a more auspicious discussion from the standpoint of all segments of the market, and finishing these questions about fast transitions of securities. Victor, could you please name one or two key factors of success, in case of which the system will be successful? I think that these are amendments in the legislation. If they happen, the system will be successful. I promise that. and I'm quite ready to demand them, to ask that. Well, legislational amendments, it's not like make it obligatory. No, it's about creating an opportunity to transfer these documents electronically for the purposes of tax accounting. Okay, let's move to the second block of question. I guess that we need to think of digitalization in accounting infrastructure once again. Victor, let's start with you once again. NRD is a digital institution, although you mostly service corporations, and you mostly have B2B digital services, but the question is as follows. There are various platform services that develop now, and recently you received the status of an operator of information system of digital assets. Does it mean that in future you will be an operator of tokenized assets, securities probably? Probably you will not have securities in 3 to 5 years, or no? And as a whole, in your opinion, what are the digital services and projects we need to improve, to build, so that the investment market would be more advanced? That's a good question. The history shows that a new technological revolution cannot be born in a country where the previous technological revolution took place. It's quite banal. Old technologies protect themselves through various means, and they need to pay back the investments. We have quite a serious and strong distributive broker network. It was quite difficult to establish it, to develop it, and I guess that now it's going to experience significant rise due to some limitations and focus on the Russian market. We can see it according to the current IPO that come to the market and become really popular because the main investor is an individual. There are some issues there and some opportunities there as well. And today, in my opinion, when we have the same thing but in digital format, well, I do not think that it is useful. And at the same time, I do not think that this is about the development of the market. I mean that there are normal ways to raise shareholding capital, debt capital, and when we do the same thing in a different format, I do not think that it's very reasonable. Digital financial assets, in my opinion, should go where it is technologically difficult to implement the current opportunity to take part in profit. So this can be about soils, about square meters. It all sounds complicated, but we should try doing that and trying to use the existing transport to the end client as much as it is possible and transform it stepwise, because it is really expensive, it takes lots of time, and I'm afraid that if we play that but we do not succeed, we will say okay, it's not successful, and we will reject that. Of course, we should not reject that, but we should think how to implement that, how to make it in a talented and creative way. And sometimes a new team comes to desk, and instead of attracting new clients, they actually work with the existing base and divide it. So they did not bring anything valuable there, but they already can show some financial result because they just took clients from their colleagues. And I think that we need to be focused on decreasing the overall costs. That's the money that is spent by any participant of the process for servicing the client. For example, qualified investors. Quite frequently we mentioned that we need to be really attentive so that clients would buy specific products conscientiously. And it's not convenient when one person comes to many financial institutions, many companies, because this money is not endless. And they have to show it every time. We want to create a unified register. We have repository where we store these golden nodes as a registry of financial transactions, a repository for OTC deals, and urgent deals in financial market. We have an opportunity to store information about a person when some financial institution analyzed whether this person is able to bear the risk and adequate enough, so this person is in the register, and after that any broker can use this note if the person permits that, but no documents or not doubling things are needed for this person. They do not need to show that each time they buy a new product, apart from one aspect. A new broker should completely trust to the quality of the previous broker, because there can be bad consequences if there was an error there. So yes, there should be no advantage taken in this case when we open an opportunity for being so-called creative. We understand that if this is a win-win solution, then everyone should play according to the rules. It's so classical. The punishment will come. You do it for your own benefit. Okay, thanks a lot. I'm just trying to manage time. It's difficult for me. The same question is of you from the standpoint of services digitalization in accounting infrastructure in the investment market. What should be done there? Probably you've already started doing something. In Alpha Investments, we provided an opportunity to withdraw and collect securities by an electronic order. We can do it ourselves. From the standpoint of the market, we are really waiting for this unified register of qualified investors. It will be really useful in my opinion, and all the ideas that we have are the ideas how to increase speed, decrease costs, and customer centricity. So we should make this service more user-friendly for the clients, because quite frequently the client has specific responsibilities. They need to collect documents, bring originals of the documents. It is not always easy. And what other ideas do we have? For a long time we have talked with NRD so that we try to convince them that the information about corporate actions should be provided in two forms, and now the messages received by the below depository is written on a depository language. Professionals can understand that, but the clients can't. And in every broker there is a group of people that interpret from this professional jargon to normal language. So we need to have Yandex translator. So if this work is done by NRD, and if they send us two texts at once, one for professional users and the other for clients, so that it will be understandable and easy to read. Well, we need to remember that there are elderly people. Elderly people understand it about deposits. So they need to understand this system as well. And if NRD does that, then the information will come to clients a bit faster, and our own costs will go down a bit. We also have some ideas about the unified tax certificate and simplifying work with children's accounts. I do not think that it's about depository as well. You can actually order NRD to do that as well. We are ready to work with NRD in this area. We wouldn't have an idea how to do that. I think that Victor and I will find the common language. Thanks a lot, Olga. Lyudmila, the next question is of you. You know, I mentioned that registrators are less digitalized than depositories. Some people agree with that, some not. And some time ago, you asked if it was possible to use a blockchain in accounting securities, and we did not put a period in this issue. Probably we can experiment there, but we just want it not only to be some hype around blockchain, but there should be some meaning there. Speaking about registrators business, do you think that you are digital, and what digital services, what online services do you give clients today, what you are ready to give in future? We actually think that we're digital. Quite a long time ago, we selected this slogan, first digital registrator, and for 4 years in a row, we've been acting in this paradigm. But initially, what problem did we have? we needed to have a competitive advantage because we did not have a good business, and we needed to have a very sure, confident, very sure client advantage. So we had a hypothesis that we can digitalize everything, clients will like it, and we will get the whole market. We digitalized everything. We digitalized registrators part really fast. Within 6 months, probably did not work well from the standpoint of back office, but the front office was quite good. And we started this work, and it was so good that the infrastructure is very conservative, because if these markets were less conservative, we would have collapsed, because it was a serious error. So the first 10 reasons why registrators are chosen do not include technologies, and only now we started receiving feedback from the clients that they selected us because we have most number of online services, and the client pathway in our services is more attractive for clients. So when you speak about clients, these are corporations. These are not individuals. Individuals do not choose us, actually. These are corporations. It's the way you cannot select your parents. And our corporations select us for individuals they have. So we just started thinking, I will approach blockchain a bit later. So we started thinking, how can we make people interested? Because, corporations not really want to work with us, and people do not come to the service a lot either. So this is like Schrödinger's cat service. It seems to exist, but no one uses that. And we just checked what problems we had. And we had one very serious problem. This social group that have package, energy, for example, average package is less than 5,000, and all of them want to sell that. It's logical. So they need money, they want to sell, and a broker does not take it if you have only 5,000. So the process is complicated. You will spend money just on as a fee for transportation from one place to another. And the story is trivial. You have shares, you can click it and make an announcement that you want to sell. We did not understand how to work with the risks. We just said that there is stock exchange price plus or minus 10%. And the maximum amount is 100,000. That is our responsibility. And strange as it may seem, of course, we needed to work as a kit maker to make it more popular, but over 2 years this service became really good. I mean that people use it, and we saw that within 9 months of this year we have X3. Speaking about the deals compared with the previous year, so this story is growing, and stepwise. Well, I guess that very soon you will come to us to get stock exchange license. Now my story is different. And why is it good? Anonymous. Often no one can see anyone, no one tortures anyone, or we are a guarantor as an escrow. I mean that we guarantee all the settlements, we provide a tax certificate and agreement. Well, you are a stock exchange, anonymous, glass central contractor, but we are not the ones that determine the price, or we just give the price of the stock exchange. And actually we liked it. I mean that no one was complaining. We got rid of senseless mailing, and people liked that, and issuers liked that, and they were grateful to us. And we actually thought, what could we do next? So there's a person that makes several deals per week, and that's good. Unfortunately, the investment platforms and crowdfunding started to develop. So people bought it. It doesn't matter whether this is our investment platform or other investment platforms. And after that, they need secondary platforms. And the mechanism that we developed a long time ago was very suitable for this story. And today, we started thinking of automating document flow with investment platforms, with third-party investment platforms to calculate their deals. And I always said that a registrator is not an infrastructure for settlements, but now I'm thinking that probably we can calculate that as well. And speaking about further development of this story, what is the idea here? So we allowed people to sell smoothly, calmly, at a low price. And now we have the following problem. There are deals and there is the registrator that shows the deals in the register. It's not good because your service protecting the rights of investors once a week writes us that someone was deceived, that something was taken away from someone, it was bought at a price that is 3 times lower than the shares in the stock exchange. And I think that the prospects of developing registrators infrastructure is transition from deals fixation to B2B deals in the operator's platform. And I think that it will be perceived by the market really well. We will get rid of fraud. We will give people a good instrument to sell the packages they have for non-public companies as well. And this story, when a registrator acts as an operator, is combined with blockchain and the centralized system for keeping a register quite well. Although in case of some changes in legislation, it can be centralized. Thanks. Last question, please be brief. We can see that some banks started acquiring terminals, payment terminals, where people can pay with their face, their smile. And when will it be possible to sign this transfer document in registrators just with your face? Well, it's possible to sign it with an SMS code. And I will analyze the legislation, and if it's possible, we'll do that. Thank you. Question of Pavel. Pavel, once again, I would like to return to the fact that you represent the largest custodian, and on the one hand you have quite a high level of process automation. On the other hand, we can see that at the background of new technologies development, there are lots of technological opportunities that allow to automate and get rid of traditional operations for the market. Do you think that it's possible that in the near future, a company like yours will not be needed? I mean that tomorrow there will be smart contract algorithms that will check the quality of a tax return, and they will compare the agreement with the portfolio, and actually your company will not be needed, or the role of your company will change. Probably it will become a validator of these smart contracts. It will develop smart contracts by itself. And as a whole, what do you think of your future? Where do you see yourself in the digital landscape of the financial market? Thanks. Well, are we afraid of competition with new segments and new players? We are not relaxed, that's true, but we're not too tense either. We are just focused. And I think that that's the main thing. We think that indeed some collective forms of investments in new instruments will appear. And probably they will not take a share of traditional forms, but at least they will be formed. And they will be used stepwisely from primitive to complicated. And I think that if it is very complicated, you cannot do without intermediaries. For example, today, mutual fund in a managed company is not only an instrument but also a subject that can have rights for real estate and other objects. And this is quite a complicated infrastructure, and saying that in all the plethora of such instruments, it will be possible to implement complicated constructions without intermediaries. I would say that these are funds. Well, probably in some time we will get there, but this is a long way. When we say that it's possible to develop an algorithm for accounting, evaluation, assessment of assets, for controlling them, theoretically, yes, but someone should do that. Without blockchain, we have been developing these algorithms for a number of years, and we cannot do everything. I think that we're not very stupid. This is also about specific methodology and expertise of complexity. So I can say that indeed, I don't think that we will compete somewhere, but I mostly think that we will become partners. For example, speaking about the expertise, the ability to implement algorithms, technical ones, not only methodological ones, we could cooperate and we could implement that with various operators of information systems or digital platforms. We could implement new instruments, new products in a specific form of collective investments. That's the way I can answer this question. I think that we will coexist. And indeed, probably today I do not want to be an operator of information system, but a bridge between the huge market of trusted management. Well, yes, even it is possible to include digital assets in a fund according to the law now. Indeed, we need to improve the technical opportunities here, speaking about depositories, but I think that it's possible. And we also have a reputation as a trusted storage company, and we have expertise. Speaking about the future, of course, we are not big tech, and we do not have big data either. So we apply machine learning technologies for documents. We have trained for 2 years, and it works. We can also decode payment order. It seems simple, but we do that about 20,000 notes per day. This is not a generative artificial intelligence, but with our data today, we don't really need that. Someday we will have them. But these are the elements that we apply. Robotization is not digitalization, but we actually have about 70 to 80 robots. And we have trained to do that since 2018. We're a wholesale company. We work with a large institutional investors, clients, and one significant digital implementation is API integration or direct integration. Unfortunately, most frequently, API is a standardized thing, and direct integrations with largest companies are normally custom integrations because everyone has their own requests and data. Well, it cannot be compared with the leaders, with the largest banks. Of course, in case of retail, that is more in demand. That's about surviving in this competition. But as B2B in our part, we can cope with this role. And I would also like to mention that in future, there will be segmentation, retail services for retail market, stock exchange funds, open funds, and they will be digitalized more, and we will be able to speak about a semi-digital model, although it's not the same. And the closed ones include customs of expertise, and I think that artificial intelligence will get there as well. A human or artificial intelligence. Thanks a lot. Actually, 4 or 5 minutes are left, and I would like to address the colleagues in this room and give them an opportunity to ask several questions. Hello. Lyudmila, you mentioned blockchain in your answer. And speaking about the origins of the activities of registrator that maintain the register, you know that blockchain is a technology of distributed register, and we know that actually blockchain is applicable for accounting registers of any data. And speaking about the activities of your registrator, do you plan to use blockchain or similar technologies? Well, I think that blockchain is a wonderful system. If we do not change the current legislation and landscape, we can use blockchain, and it is good for building industrial interaction between registrators. These can be simple things such as collecting reports, maintaining databases, I don't know, some probably the transfer of registers of databases from one registrator to another, because it will allow us to increase trust and decrease the number of errors and fraud. So I guess that at this stage, a blockchain can be applied in this context. Probably in future there will be cascading inside. Thank you. Yes, please. Does it work? Yes. Hello, my name is Ilya Kirsontsov. I'm from Association of Retail Investors, and I would like to speak about that from the standpoint of private investors. I'm quite experienced in working with paper orders, transfers of securities, and if you're able to do that, I can say that you are a super experienced investor. If you're not a super experienced investor, it's better to avoid that. There is a proposal. That's the second point of my idea, that as this button will be available to everyone, we need to form the layer of investors that will try that in the chat, that will explain others that it is possible to do that quite easily. And at the first stage, it's better to have zero marketing period. Otherwise, there will be a question, how much does it cost? This is the fee taken from me. You'll get lots of phone calls in your call center. The third question. There is a new law. It's possible to have 3 individual investment accounts only, and you can never have zero there. There's always some money there. And individual investment account is given to you as a whole. And secondly, if you already have 3 such accounts, you should not have the 4th one. And what about that? Well, speaking about the last question, we did not think of that. I think that this is a technological task, and we will be able to solve that. Speaking about the marketing period, I agree that this is appropriate. We always have marketing period for people to evaluate it, to perceive the value, and after that we test how much it costs, so that is very relevant. Yes, please. Thank you. Yes, please. So, I take part in the process of fast transfer. I've been there since the very beginning. I'd like to make a remark. Is it possible to add the transfer of qualified investor status in the system of fast payments? It would be really good, because when a client submits papers, it would be good to transfer the status as well. No, the technology is as follows. A customer opens their account in State Services, goes to Slovakia, and gives consent for transferring this information to a broker, and we will do that. So this is the design. No, I think that we need to think it over, because when we process this order, I mean that we have our own trading system, and we have this API there, the system of fast transfers. We test that, and we would like to transfer that by ourselves. But of course, there should be trust in the participants of this process, so that the transition of this status would be perceived adequately by all parties. I have a question of the regulator. I just want to see, I want to know the role of regulator in this project. Frankly speaking, I think that economics is there. Well, of course, you cannot attract regulator by economics. I mean that we will save lots of working hours of depository, lots of working time of NRD company and the back office for filling up the data about the balance. And speaking about regulator, and this improvement is important for taxation. I will try to answer your question briefly. I think that if together with the market participants we understand that this project is important for the clients, for the market as well, first of all, together with the market, we should create the necessary regulatory conditions. Viktor mentioned a number of laws that should be amended. Probably additionally, we will need to have a standard to create unified requirements to the format of documents and others. And after that, we'll check that if a more formalized regulation is needed from the standpoint of obligation to take part in this system. I think that this regulation can appear, but today I like it that market participants do it at their initiative, using their own resources without an external impetus from regulators. Colleagues, our time is up. And I would like to thank everyone for taking part in this discussion. I would like to thank our speakers and everyone who came here today, all the fans of accounting infrastructure and its digitalization. I think that this is not hopeless. In the beginning I was quite skeptical. I thought that our custodial depository accounting infrastructure is not digital enough. But now I can see that indeed in the agenda there are some digital projects that have already been implemented, and the main thing is that these projects are not for the sake of hype. They have specific economic contents, and I hope that indeed they will help create new rails for the investment market and additional services for clients will appear. Thanks a lot and have a good day. Yes, and as today, just like during other sections, we spoke about digital assets and blockchain. I invite everyone to the plenary discussion that will take place, that will be devoted to the market of virtual assets, digital assets. Please come there. As I remember, it starts at 2:30. Thank you, colleagues.